Just as we sat down to record this video, there were reports coming in that the Chinese are not bowing down in the Ladakh sector. There are 40,000 troops from the Chinese side on the Ladakh front. They are equipped with heavy defense machinery. These include your long air missiles, long range missiles, the air defense systems. In this regard, the issue we are going to discuss today, the recent report, becomes very, very important, that of the Indian Navy deploying its MiG-29Ks in critical Air Force bases in northern parts of India. Now, I'm just sitting 40 kilometers away from the Ambala Air Force Base, which is one of the very important bases in North India. It is going to be the airbase which is going to receive the Rafale fighter planes soon next week. And all the time I hear the fighter planes going, so it denotes that the urgency within the Indian Air Force, within the Indian services is still there. Now, this is where the MiG-29K deployment becomes very, very important. One, the Indian Navy has around 40 MiG-29Ks on its command. Almost half of them are always on the Indian aircraft carrier, INS Vikramaditya. The other half is stationed at one of the Navy bases in Goa. It's just not about the MiG-29K that is being deployed. The Indian Navy has also deployed its P-8I Navy surveillance plane. And a lot of people had this question. We also did a video and some series of articles on Swarajya that why was a Navy plane being deployed in the northern sector on the Ladakh front when it should be monitoring the Indian Ocean? Well, the P-8I has been helping the Indian services with surveillance, checking the Chinese incursion, checking the Chinese insurgency, and checking the troop buildup at the Ladakh front. Now, this brings me to the very, very important question for the day on the coordination between the Navy and the Air Force and the Army. But before we jump to that, I'd like you to subscribe to our channel. Also, push the bell notification to receive all the updates from Swarajya for all the videos we put out. Now, coming to the importance of the MiG-29K deployment. If you go back in time, there was this discussion about the Office of Chief of Defense Staff to be institutionalized. A lot of critics said that this is irrelevant. Probably India is trying to follow a model of the West. This won't work. Skeptics were all over the place criticizing the entire idea of having a CDS. But today, the same office is ensuring that the assets are used in an optimal manner. The Navy can lend or can shift its Navy fighter planes to the northern India's Air Force bases, and they're doing so. This is being made possible by very swift coordination, which has been facilitated by the Office of CDS between the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. In fact, a lot of defense analysts have also commented that the Office of the CDS, it will facilitate jointness in planning. It will facilitate jointness in procurement of systems, defense, logistics, everything. It will help in further efficiency of the TRICE services. And this is where the Office of the CDS becomes very, very important. What we are seeing with the deployment of the MiG-29Ks in North India right now, that's one example of that. But that's all about the Office of the CDS. What else is the Navy doing? Because the one question a lot of people have is that if the Navy is now going to send fighter planes to North India's Air Force bases, who's going to take care of the Indian Ocean? Well, the Indian Navy is already on that. Already, a section of the Indian Navy, it's keeping a watch on the Malacca Strait from where the Chinese Navy enters the Indian Ocean. So the surveillance is on there too. This has been made, the entire coordination where the assets are being pushed around for their optimal use, that has been made possible by the Office of the CDS, and that is one success that must be acknowledged. Now, when we talk about fighter planes lately, since the Modi government has took over, the entire discussion has been about Rafales. We've just been talking about Rafales and when they will be a part of this force and how will they be making a difference? We'll be doing a video on that very soon. You must subscribe to our channel to receive an update about that. But we've always been focused too much on Rafale. With MiG-29K being added to the Air Force bases, it further adds to the muscle posturing. The Sukhois, the Mirage, the Jaguars, they're already operating. I often hear them going from my rooftop, up just above my rooftop, as the Air Force base is very nearby. But they're further adding to the muscle posturing that India needs to do. The second thing is there are already Apache helicopters and the Chinook helicopters already mobilized to ensure that if soldiers need to be moved forward on the front on an urgent basis, that can be done. So what are our two big takeaways when we talk about the deployment of the MiG-29Ks in North India? Well, first, that the Indian government is not going down. The tensions with China are still very much on. The preparations are still very much on. So even though there are a lot of talks going on the government level, on the army level, the Indian government wants to keep the defenses up. The Indian forces wants to keep the defenses up. No one's letting the guard down. The second thing is that the office of CDS was a very correct decision by the Indian government. It is one office that is now helping coordination of successful preparation efforts against China and possibly against Pakistan too, because the forces in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh area, they'll be tackling the danger from Ladakh, from China and from Pakistan simultaneously. There's a possibility of that. And this is where the success, the idea of the office of CDS, that it was a right idea, it must be acknowledged. Thank you so much.